So you've been taking metformin for a while now and you're wondering what actually happens if I just stop. Maybe the side effects are driving you crazy. Maybe you've heard someone online say they quit cold turkey and felt amazing. Or maybe you're just tired of being on medication and you want to get off of it. I get it. And today I'm going to give you the honest, science-backed answer, because what happens when you quit metformin is not what most people expect. And some of it is actually pretty serious. If you want our free guide on how to start reversing insulin resistance today, just comment the word checklist below and we'll send it to you for free right away. Hi, I'm Diana. I'm a registered dietitian, a certified diabetes care and education specialist, and my master's in nutrition science. I work with people with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes every single day, and I get the question constantly is, can I stop taking metformin? So let's talk about it the right way. First, let's make sure we're on the same page about what metformin is actually doing for you, because this will help everything else make sense. Metformin is one of the most prescribed diabetes medications in the world, and it works in a few ways. Number one, it tells your liver to calm down. Your liver is constantly releasing glucose into your bloodstream, even when you don't need it. Metformin puts the brakes on that. Number two, it makes your cells more sensitive to insulin. Remember, insulin resistance is the root cause of type 2 diabetes. Your cells have basically stopped listening to insulin's signal. Metformin helps turn that signal back on. And number three, it activates something called the AMPK pathway. Think of AMPK like the CEO of your metabolism. When it's activated, your body burns more energy and moves glucose out of your bloodstream more efficiently. So metformin is doing a lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes, which means when you take it away, things shift. And not in a good way. Here's where it gets real. When people stop metformin without replacing it with something equally powerful, whether that's a different medication or consistent lifestyle changes, the research is pretty consistent about what happens next. Your blood sugar goes up. Stopping metformin in type 2 diabetes often causes a rise in HbA1c. That's your 3-month blood sugar average. And getting it back under control usually means adding other drugs, often insulin, at higher costs and with more side effects. You may gain weight. Patients commonly gain weight after metformin is withdrawn, and this has been seen across multiple conditions, not just diabetes. Your risk of low blood sugar goes up from other drugs. If your doctor switches you to a different medication to compensate, many of those alternatives actually carry a higher hypoglycemia risk than metformin does. And here's one that surprises people. In large studies of people with advanced kidney disease, discontinuing metformin was associated with higher risks of death, end-stage kidney disease, and major cardiovascular events compared to people who stayed on it. And one more in older adults, early termination of metformin was linked to a higher incidence of dementia compared to those who continued it. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not sharing this to scare you into staying on a medication forever. I'm sharing this because you deserve the full picture. The decision to stop or reduce metformin should never be made alone, and it should never be made without a plan. So please talk to your doctor before making any changes to your medication. Now, I want to speak directly to my pre-diabetes community for a moment, because I think this section is especially important for you. A lot of people with pre-diabetes are prescribed metformin as a preventative tool, and many of them wonder, do I even really need this? I'm not fully diabetic yet. Can I just stop? Here's what the research says. In the diabetes prevention program, one of the most important and largest diabetes studies ever conducted, researchers looked at what happened when people with prediabetes stopped taking metformin. They found that about a quarter of metformin's diabetes prevention effect disappeared within just 1 to 2 weeks of stopping it. Let that sink in. Within 2 weeks, the protection it was giving you starts fading that fast. But here's the part of the study that I really want you to hear, because it's generally one of the most powerful findings in all of diabetes research. In that same study, researchers compared 2 groups. One group took metformin, the other group made intensive lifestyle changes. Things like improving their diet, increasing fiber, reducing saturated fat, getting regular physical activity. And the results were not even close. The lifestyle intervention group reduced their risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 58% over 3 years. The metformin group reduced their risk by 31%. Lifestyle changes were nearly twice as effective as the medication. And it gets even more interesting. The lifestyle intervention worked broadly, meaning it works for almost everyone in the study, regardless of age, weight, or background. Metformin, on the other hand, worked best in specific higher risk groups, particularly younger adults and those with a higher body weight. So what does this tell us? It tells us that metformin is a valuable tool, especially while you're building that lifestyle foundation. But it's not the most powerful tool available to you. You are. Your daily choices are. And here's why that matters so much for prediabetes specifically. When you have prediabetes, you are at a critical crossroads. Your insulin resistance is already elevated. Your blood sugar is already trending in the wrong direction. Metformin is helping hold the line while you work on the lifestyle changes that can actually reverse the underlying problem. If you pull that support away before those lifestyle changes are firmly in place, before your body has genuinely improved its insulin sensitivity, you're removing a safety net at exactly the wrong time. So if you have prediabetes and you're thinking about stopping metformin, the question isn't just, can I stop? The question is, have I built the lifestyle foundations strong enough to not need it? And that is a conversation to have with your doctors, with your labs in hand. And this also applies to people with type 2 diabetes. Lifestyle changes are so powerful. And if you have that foundation set in place, you do have the ability to eventually reduce or eliminate your metformin. But you, of course, have to do that. As your numbers come down, you can have those conversations with your doctor about lessening or even eliminating metformin. But you have to have that conversation with your doctor. Do not make decisions about your prescription medication on your own. And I do just want to reiterate, metformin is there to control your blood sugar. Uncontrolled blood sugar levels can have a lot of serious consequences. So that is why doctors usually always prescribe metformin right away. And that's why metformin is one of the most commonly prescribed diabetes medications, because it works well and it has very few side effects. It helps get your blood sugar into a safer range while you make those lifestyle changes. Okay, so here's the part you actually came for, because the goal for many of you isn't to be on metformin forever, and that is a completely valid goal. But the only sustainable way to reduce or eventually come off metformin is to fix the root cause. And that root cause is insulin resistance. Here's what the research and clinical practice consistently shows. Number one, fiber, lots of it. A 2024 systematic review of 26 studies showed that higher fiber intake significantly improved A1C, fasting blood sugar, triglycerides, LDL or bad cholesterol, and body weight, with the strongest benefits seen at 35 to 40 grams of fiber per day. Fiber slows glucose absorption, it flattens blood sugar spikes, and it feeds your gut microbiome, which produces compounds that keep your cells insulin sensitive. Aim for 30 to 40 grams of fiber daily from whole plant foods. Number two, cut the saturated fat. This one surprises people, but excess saturated fat, think fatty meats, full fat dairy, fried food, actually disables insulin from doing its job. It clogs the signaling pathway between insulin and your cells. Keeping saturated fat low can dramatically improve insulin sensitivity. And three, move after meals. A 2017 randomized controlled trial found that walking just 15 minutes after each meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, was more effective at lowering post-meal blood sugar than one 45-minute walk per day. Your muscles don't even need insulin to pull glucose out of your bloodstream during movement. It's like flipping on a vacuum that sucks sugar out of your blood. Number four, build muscle. Resistance training 2 to 3 times per week builds the glucose storage tanks in your body. The more muscle you have, the more glucose your body can clear from your bloodstream, even at rest. Walking turns on the vacuum. Resistance training makes the vacuum bigger and more powerful. Number five, protect your sleep and manage stress. Just one poor night's sleep can reduce your insulin sensitivity by up to 25% the next day. And chronic stress keeps cortisol high, which tells your liver to dump more glucose into your bloodstream. These two things quietly undo a lot of the hard work you're putting in everywhere else. When you do all of these things consistently, and I mean consistently, not just for 2 weeks, your cells start listening to insulin again. Your blood sugar stabilizes, your doctor starts seeing improvements in your labs, and that is when the conversation about reducing your medication dose becomes a real medically appropriate conversation to have with your doctor. Now, I want to talk about something that a lot of people don't know about, and that's Berberine. And I want to be very clear, I never will suggest you replace metformin with Berberine. Do not stop taking any prescribed medications like metformin. What I'm talking about here is how Berberine may be able to support your progress alongside your current treatment. And always talk to your doctor first before starting any supplement. Berberine is a natural plant compound that has been studied extensively for blood sugar control. And here's what makes it so interesting. It works through a very similar mechanism to to metformin. It also activates that AMPK pathway we talked about earlier. Think of it as a natural tool that can complement what metformin is already doing in your body. In fact, one study directly compared berberine to metformin and found that berberine exhibited an identical effect in the regulation of glucose metabolism, including A1C, fasting blood sugar, post-meal blood sugar, fasting insulin, and post-meal insulin. And when it came to cholesterol and triglycerides, berberine actually outperformed metformin. A 2024 meta-analysis of 50 randomized controlled trials found that berberine significantly reduced fasting blood sugar, post-meal blood sugar, LDL or bad cholesterol, total cholesterol, and triglycerides across more than 4,000 participants. Now, can you take berberine with metformin? Well, studies show that they can work very well together and actually have a synergistic effect, meaning they work even better together. But here's where I really need you to listen. If you are on metformin or any other diabetes medication, you must talk to your doctor before adding berberine or any supplement. Combining them can lower your blood sugar further than expected, and your blood sugar may need to adjust your medication dose. So please don't do anything to your regimen without that conversation first. If your doctor gives you the green light and you're looking for a high quality berberine supplement, I personally recommend Jade Supplements, of course, Jade Pure Berberine. Each capsule contains 600 milligrams of berberine HCl. That's the most studied form, and it's third-party tested for purity and potency. It's manufactured in an FDA registered GMP certified facility. The clinical dose is 1,200 milligrams per day, so just have one capsule in the morning with food and then one in the evening with food. You'll find the link in the description below along with a discount code if you do want to take it. And speaking of tools to support your journey, again, if you want our free checklist on how to start reversing insulin resistance today using lifestyle changes, comment checklist below and we'll get it to you right away. All right, before we go, let's bring it all together. Quitting metformin without a plan, without your doctor, without lifestyle changes, without something equally effective in its place is not a strategy. The research is clear that most of the benefits fade fast and the risks can rise. But here's what I also want you to hear. Staying on metformin forever because you feel like you have no other option, that doesn't have to be the story either. The real path forward is this. Keep taking your medication as prescribed, work closely with your doctor, and build that lifestyle foundation. Fiber, movement, muscle, sleep, stress management. Consider evidence-based tools like berberine to further support your progress, but only after talking to your doctor first. And then let your labs do the talking. When your blood sugar improves consistently over time, that is when your doctor can begin having the conversation about whether reducing your dose is appropriate for you. You are not stuck. Insulin resistance is reversible, and you have far more power over this than what you've probably been told. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss our next video. And again, don't forget to comment checklist below to get our free checklist on how to start reversing insulin resistance today. All right, guys, I'll see you in our next video.